Hi friends, in our time together today, I'm introducing scale exercise 13, which is designed to help us with scales in a jig rhythm. So I've taken a specific pattern out of one of the most popular jigs, and I've replicated that pattern across the scale. And so this is perfect for us to practice this jig rhythm with the scale in 6/8 time. That's how I designed this. You know, I've said I've taken some exercises I've pulled from books that are old that everybody does and some that I've crafted. I've taken a couple of measure sequence out of a very popular jig and I've replicated it across the scale in both the keys of D and G. We'll follow our normal pattern. You can download the music and tabs if you use those. I'll put a link in the notes to this video, and the link takes you to a page on my website, and there's a download tab on that page. With this exercise, there are two download tabs because I didn't want to squish it all on one page. Just make it easier for you. There's a download for D and a download for G, the two major keys we can play on our D whistles. And it's just walking up and down the scale according to this pattern. And so that'll be pretty good. But I do want to comment. I want to introduce the walk up in what I would think of as a classical style. So here is just the walk from the low D to the second octave D in this pattern, straight as I was playing it if I had my saxophone and was reading music. I went a little faster through that, but if I was just sight reading that, I would have played those triplets bum 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 very equally. But this is a jig pattern. And so the notes for the flow of a jig, think about the notes not having equal value. I know that there's more to say than this, and we really just need to sit and listen to jigs. But when you're listening to a jig, nobody's going to dance a jig to bum 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 bum. It feels wooden. It's technically correct according to the music, but it's not a jig. So if you think of a jig, instead of we're going to get the notes, because of the type of tune it is, the notes are going to have slightly different values to them to create that rhythm. And simplistically, I'm just going to say, think about it this way. Few squeaks in there. So think about it as, instead of a straight triplet, that first note of the triplet being held a smidge longer, you're bouncing off the middle note of the triplet, and then the last note of the triplet gets a standard weight from the music standpoint. So I'm going to play through the exercise in that way. But I have not, if you're reading the music, I have not written it that way. But if you're looking at music for a jig, you're just going to see it written like I've written it. And that's why I've done that, because I want us to think that the style of music overrides the printed page. All right. So a little longer, but that was very important for us, because we're layering into our knowledge information and skills on different styles of music. So here is the exercise in D. Okay, now it still doesn't sound crazy jiggy, and that's because I didn't add any ornamentation in or other flourishes as you go through. But if you take that rhythm for the tune and then you add in some ornaments, it's going to feel a lot better. So work on it that way. And now let's walk through the same exercise in G. All right, that's both exercises in D and G. Remember, you can download them using the link. So work through this straight if you just need to get into the notes. I said straight and I started throwing some ornaments in. But I'd rather you saw the printed music for what it is. You permitted the jig style to override your printed music reading, and then you added in some fun. So first go through it, and I know I was tonguing it on almost every note. That was to help accentuate the different notes. So, go ahead and play it in that bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum ba-dum. And you've probably guessed it by now, but think, if you need help, think of the beginning couple of lines of the Kesh jig. And then you're going to get that. So you're counting 6/8. 1, 2, 1, 2. Bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum. And then, but ornamenting on top of that. So that's why I love this exercise, to help us move just a little further into learning the jig style. So go through it in letting the jig style override the printed music, but it's still how that's going to be written, and then begin adding some ornamentation in after you learn the scale exercise. It's going to be so helpful for us in developing our ability to play. Until next time, my friends, this is Scott Shade. Happy whistling.